Marvel Zombies is a new Marvel show now streaming on Disney Plus, and it's also a new Marvel show that I completely forgot about. And I know damn well I am not the only person who forgot about this show, because I posted about it on my Instagram story, and the amount of people messaging me being like, oh, is this an actual show? Has this actually been confirmed to be an actual show? Like, guys, yes, it is. Okay, it's out now on Disney Plus. There's only 4 episodes. I have watched all 4 episodes, and so I'm going to be explaining my thoughts about the show on whether it is actually good or not. Just a quick disclaimer, I will be talking about spoilers. I'll be talking about every episode in loads of detail pretty much. So if you haven't watched the show yet and you don't want to be spoiled, make sure you watch it first and then come back to this video if you care about what I have to say about it. So I am going to be just randomly talking about my thoughts. I'm not going to be like, okay, this is episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4. It's all just going to be random, because that's how I've written my notes. So anyway, let's start by the animation, because that's the first thing I've written about. The animation reminds me a lot of Spider-Verse and Arcane, where it mixes 3D and 2D animation, and it is my favourite kind of animation, you know, 3D mixed with 2D. People call it 2D.5. I don't actually know the terminology for this animation. I just call it Spider-Verse style animation. Oh, nearly knocked my phone down. I just call it Spider-Verse animation. But that being said, so the animation does look really good, especially in the first episode. The colours are so good as well, especially in the opening scene. We get this very dystopian vibe of like this abandoned world due to the zombies, and the colours are so light and hopeful, and it's just in contrast with the zombies, which I honestly really liked. However, the animation did get a little bit sloppy later on in the show, I realised. There's a point in episode 4 where loads of characters are shocked. Like, they're like, they're shocked. And the animation just looks really uncanny. It does not look the same as it did for episode 1. It kind of reminds me of the Uzumaki situation, where the first episode's animation looks really good, and then slowly throughout the other episodes the animation quality sort of decreases. However, that does not actually have an effect on the story of the show. I will be getting into the story later on, but animation's the first thing I wanted to talk about, and yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It looks really good in some scenes, doesn't look so good in other scenes. The animation's fine for me. Another thing I want to talk about is how graphic and gory the show is. Now, obviously, when the show was announced, I think Marvel posted something being like, oh, this is for like older audiences, and everyone got so excited because yay, we're finally getting gory, graphic Marvel content. And while the show is more graphic and gory than like the MCU films, for an example, it's not over the top gory. And I actually preferred that. Like, it's not gory enough to be labelled as edgy or anything. I think the fact that it's not so gory actually does work in the show's favour, because the humour in the show as well, the humour is very MCU. Like, it's still got that MCU charm to the show. And I feel like if the show was over the top with the gore and the graphicness, that's not even a word, but whatever, it just would not work, I don't think. So I'm actually glad. The show is more gory than Marvel films, but it's not so gory to the point where it's like there's gore for the sake of gore, if that makes sense. Because I know some shows that do that, and while it may look cool, it doesn't mean that the stuff is good. Cough, cough, Terrifier. Another thing this show has that is one of my favourite things in media as a whole is one-take shots. If you don't know what a one-take shot is, imagine a fight scene happening and there's no cuts in between it at all. Think of the film 1917. I've not watched it personally, but I do know that the film is pretty much a one-take shot. And just think of it like that. There's a whole fight scene happening with no cuts whatsoever, so you literally see everything as it's happening in that exact time. There's a lot of them in this show, and I actually think it worked really well. My favourite one was definitely the opening of episode 2, when we see Shang-Chi and they're all running around with the chaos happening behind them, and it's all in one shot, one take, and I just love it. I think the show gets stars for that alone. Speaking of Shang-Chi, I did notice that this show had a lot of my favourite Marvel characters that are very underrated, like Blade. Blade. When I tell you, I absolutely screamed when I saw Blade. I don't know if he was shown in any trailers or not. I had not actually watched any trailers for the show, so I had no idea what I was getting myself into. When I tell you, when I saw Blade, screaming, my dad comes in, he's like, oh, what are you watching? I'm like, it's Blade! It's Blade! I love Blade so much. He might be one of my favourite Marvel characters ever, guys, okay? I love Blade. I love Blade. Marvel, please give us updates about the Blade film. Please give us updates about it, because I can't wait. I can't wait. There's loads of other side characters as well that are some of my favourites, but yeah, I just feel like I have to say that alone. We do have characters like Spider-Man, Wanda, you know, characters that are very loved by the majority of the Marvel fandom. But I kind of liked the fact that Spider-Man wasn't like a main character in the show, and they actually gave the not so known Marvel characters a chance to shine in the show, if that makes sense. I actually really liked that. Speaking of not so known Marvel characters given a chance to shine in this show, I think we do need to talk about Kamala, because she is the main protagonist of the show. While I absolutely love her so much, I do feel like they could have developed her character a lot more in this show, and that is honestly my biggest issue with this show as a whole. I feel like the story could have just been developed a lot more. Especially, there's only 4 episodes in this show, and I do feel like maybe 1 or 2 more episodes would have actually done the show a massive favor, because there's a lot of unanswered stuff. Like, obviously the show ends on a cliffhanger. I'm not talking about that sort of stuff. I'm talking about other things that happen throughout the show. It's such a shame to say this as well, though, because I love Kamala, but unfortunately she is the least interesting character in the show for me. I just wish they could have developed her a lot more, because when we get to the final scene where, you know, she's in this fake world and stuff, I was expecting to feel a lot more emotion. I was expecting to feel more like, oh no, like, what's she gonna do? Like, scared for her, but I just didn't really feel much. And I think the show could have just done a better job at developing her character a bit more, whether that's giving us some more of her backstory, developing her relationship with her friends from the beginning, and maybe like bringing that up more. It's a shame. This issue does apply to Wanda as well. I just feel like as soon as Wanda shows up in the show, it's like at a steady pace, and then as soon as we get introduced to Wanda, the show just rushes completely. The last episode was so rushed, and I think they could have easily split the last episode into 2 episodes, and it would have done the story so much justice. Now, obviously, we knew she was the villain from the very start. I'm pretty sure, like, it was shown in trailers and stuff that she was the villain as well. I'm not entirely sure, but when I go on Letterboxd to change the posters and stuff, you can easily see Wanda is the villain of the show. I don't know why they did the whole, oh, I'm not a villain, like, betrayal sort of scene, because like we already knew she was the villain. All the characters in the show already knew she was the villain. I just feel like they could have developed Wanda a lot more, because like I said, the show just is very rushed. That is probably like the writing, and the fact that the last few episodes, or the last episode, was very rushed is probably my main issues with the show. I just wanted more. I don't think 4 episodes was enough. I will say this as well. I absolutely loved that they recreated the Thor entrance scene in Wakanda. That is probably the most iconic Marvel scene like ever. And I'm so glad they recreated it. As soon as they did that, I felt like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where I was like pointing at the screen. But yeah, that is honestly all I really have to say about the show. Did I think it was a bad show at all? Absolutely not. Do I think it could have been a better show? Absolutely. Yes. And it's a shame, because I know this show did get delayed quite a lot. I just feel like maybe an extra episode or something where they had more time to explain the story, develop our characters a lot more, it would have actually done the show so much better. I know there are some diehard Marvel Zombie fans out there that absolutely love this show and will not care about the story elements whatsoever. And if that's the case for you, then honestly, I'm happy that you can actually enjoy this piece of media, because it's very obvious it was created for the Marvel Zombie fans. at the top priority of the show, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, I have just been cursed with the film student curse, where I have to analyze everything I watch. I cannot turn my brain off when watching a show. But that's not to say I didn't enjoy the show, okay? I still enjoyed it. I was still wanting to watch all 4 episodes. There was never a point of the show where I was like, I would rather be watching something else right now. Like, no, I did still enjoy it. I would give it a 3 out of 5. I gave it a solid 3 out of 5. Maybe a 3.5. I don't know. I will be rewatching this show at some point. But for now, it'll be 3 out of 5. Like I said, it just could have been better. It just could have been better, in my opinion. Not miles better, just a few little tweaks here and there. But at the end of the day, this is just my opinion. Of course, you don't have to agree with me. And if you actually disagree with some of the things I've said, please comment them below, because I love talking to people who have different opinions to me about a show. That being said, if you still want to watch this show, I would still definitely recommend it, okay? It is still better than some of Marvel's recent films they've made, okay? It is still good. It is a good show. I think it's a good show. So that being said, thanks guys for watching this video, and let me know if you want me to do more in-depth analysis videos like this.